Hey everyone, welcome back to Super Lorcana World, and we are back to Tuesday, which is our comment review section. Let us talk about some YouTube comments from last week's videos and see what's going on, see what people's opinions are and all that. And if you want to be in this video, leave a comment, or any comment on any video, and you might get in, you never know. We start here with Yeah No Me Beso. This No Me Beso, I don't know. This is the creepiest set yet, unless you play Amber or Amethyst. Creepy is an interesting word for it. There are some creepy looking cards though, so I could see it absolutely. Bearded Cat, 97.44. Bought Full Medusa for $5 like a week before it hit up to 20, and Flynn for a 1, now up to 5. I like making free money. Yeah, true. There are a lot of people. I've been doing market watches since 2020, basically, because of Digimon. And like every week, I still get comments about people saying, I made money doing this. And sometimes it's with my suggestions, and you just love to see it. You love to see it. You really do. This guy's going nuts, which is good. It's great. Love to see it. Dama collects cards. Stitch is a great long-term move. It's the first championship promo, and if you ever played any TCG, the first official tournament promos typically always play the long game beautifully. Count for the 10 population being low. The 10s will do great. Rarity when it comes to the first of its kind type of card is a hard argument to make. Visually, it's more appealing than the D23 as well, so it's got the more subjective community bias going for it as well. Interesting that you use the term more subjective community bias. I'm going to give you guys an opinion that is not going to, probably be common. The Stitch artwork looks cool, but is it anything crazy? I wouldn't say so. There's way better art in the card game, just on regular cards. But that's just me. That's whatever. That has nothing to do with this. This guy's making the argument that the Stitch promo is a good hold, and someone else. There were a couple people in the comments that made that for different reasons as well. Grading we'll get to in a second on a different comment. But at the end of the day, if you think it's going to be a good hold, do it. Do what you want. At the end of the day, all I can do is give you my opinion, and my opinion was very we'll see what happens. It was it was not a concrete opinion compared to other cards, because it is a newer thing, a newer game, and all that. And to be fair, though, I never did talk about the grading part, which I will talk about in a few minutes. Yeah, no, honestly, this guy sounds like he knows what he's talking about, and technically he is right that not every game, but for a championship promo, they typically, go long-term good. That's not true in every situation, but that is technically a true statement in the larger scale of things. So, I don't hate this comment. I think it makes sense, and maybe, just maybe, it might have given me another 5% up look on that. Maybe I would buy some for the collection, but still, there's other things I'd rather stick my money in. Like, if I could pick between buying some collector Stitches or buying some set 1 sealed booster boxes, I would buy those set 1 sealed booster boxes. That's me personally, but this guy might just collect them all and make a lot of money from them, and that's fine too. Not a big deal. Or anyone else for that matter. Moogle. Yes, the next championship enchanted card is Ursula Sea Witch Queen. These are being held all 4 weekends in July. Yeah, that card's not bad. That's not a bad pick, actually, for a championship card. Card is meta. Technically, it's meta right now. We'll see what happens. I am really interested to build a case study off of these cards when we have a few of them. But yeah, that's nice. Good card choice, honestly. Sui, at what price should I pull the trigger on those promos at the end of the video, or how much longer should I wait? The answer to the question is you wait until Ravensburger says we're making new promos starting for our next events or whatever. Gives you couple more events, 1 or 2 more events probably to grab the cards at an event, and then at that point you buy, because they'll be at their highest supply at that point, and then demand will only increase over time as they get harder to find. Because to last guy's point, cards like Stitch, these prize cards do tend to go up in price after that. So, yeah, there you go. UK Lorcana fan, aren't the Stitch Championship promos harder to grade, hence they're worth a lot? So, I've mentioned this before. I'll mention it again. I'm not big into the graded scene. I stay away from graded cards for the most part. Uh, I can count the number of times on one hand I've graded a card ever in a card game. One hand. So it's not for me. I know that graded cards for cards like Stitch usually end up being a pretty good move. Like, for example, the people who bought and cracked open their D23 promo kits and graded the cards, great. I should have done that. But no, I didn't do that with mine. And that's fine. Not a big deal. But this comment has some truth to it. If the card, it actually, okay, it goes both ways. I'll explain both ways. If the card is harder to grade, that means that graded PSA 10 copies will be worth more than they would be because they're harder to get a perfect score on. That being said, if you have more cards that come to you not near mint, and you've seen it on TCG Player, all the light play copies and all that stuff, then it is going to make the card cheaper. Because if you can't grade it, you're literally only buying it for collection purposes or to play with it, and then you're gonna want to pay less money than what it's worth, because who wants to spend that much money on a card that's not near mint? So it does go both ways. I've done this for years. It really, really does go both ways. But yeah, going back to the thing, if you can grab a good Stitch and you feel comfortable grading it, and it looks really good, grade it. Because I do that about any prize card, any promo card that's worth money. Grading it only makes it worth more money, assuming that the card is actually well positioned and everything looks right and there's not damage or whatever. So I hope that helps. Durzo, Highwind, love your new haircut, looks fresh. It is underrated, and thank you very much. Appreciate it. What you doing? Hey, love your videos. I feel like you give the most realistic sound perspective and not carried away with hype or the opposite negativity. Thank you. I also think that. Although speaking of hype, when do you think the next spike of prices will occur and what would be the catalyst for it? Thanks. It's a hard question to answer because we can't see the future. However, price spikes occur for usually two reasons. One is if a card does so well in a tournament that people just buy it out completely and the price spike happens. That's one. And two, something, for example, in the fifth set gets revealed that makes an older card really, really good or look really, really good. That's when a price spike will happen. And those are your catalysts. You can't predict those. You can't, because it's whenever Ravensburger wants to announce what card is being announced, and is it that one the good one, or is it going to be the one a week later? You'll never know until you know. So I hope that helps. Pepto. When Pokemon dropped the Mew VMAX starter deck, that was a game changer for everyday players. That's actually true. There was a little bit of a time where I was thinking about getting into Pokemon, and this was one of the decks that I bought, the Mew VMAX one, just to kind of have and play test with. These VMAX starter decks were great because they came with a tier 1 deck, basically, complete in the box. And if Ravensburger does that eventually, which I'm sure they will, it'd be foolish not to, it's going to make the barrier to entry for the card gamers a lot cheaper. And that's going to make people happier in the end. So, yeah, it's good. Lorcana Inkwell, Mr. John T, the Canadian here. I commented on the last video, but it was quite a while after release, so I'll say something similar here. Sorry I didn't enjoy the coverage. I can't speak for other commentators, but casting is absolutely a new skill set for me, and I am learning on the job. I do think overall Chicago was a huge improvement over Atlanta in many aspects, and I'm constantly working on improving. Love this game and just wish people share my passion for it with lots of people. On a completely different note, hairstyle is fantastic. Well, thank you. And honestly, he's right. Chicago was miles ahead over Atlanta, which is good. And as long as the commentating game keeps improving, we'll get there. Maybe it'll take a few months. Maybe it'll take a year. Maybe it'll take a few years. I'd love to commentate one of these events. It's never going to happen, but I'd love to commentate one of these bigger events. But like I said, it's not going to happen probably, and that's fine. I've made my bed with it. Not really a big deal. But yeah, what I can say is that, everything I say, when I'm giving, critiques and criticizing and blah 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 blah, it's just because that's what I do, right? It's just this channel is like geared around advice. It's what it is, really. Market Watch is about advice. When I release my videos whenever new cards are released, it's all about advice. What do I think? What advice can I give on these cards? Even these comment videos, they are sometimes advice. Sometimes. It's the general theme. But honestly, though, the you are doing well, sir. And Chicago was better. So I'm sure the following events will continue to improve. I have no doubts. Brandon Hart. Hey, I listen and comment every week. As someone who is holding 5 cases of the first chapter, I just want to say that from my perspective, that isn't a safe investment. Speculative. Big win or big loss. It's really all up to RB and how they treat the community, collectors, and are able to creatively keep people involved in interesting cards, artwork, and more. Balancing everyone's wants in this game, like a game like this, is tricky. If they go on a reprint rampage, I also think it would be a mistake. Value in keeping this game a CCG rather than just a game pieces goes a long way in keeping people interested, just my opinion. Sort of kind of right. I don't know anyone that's holding 5 cases that doesn't think it's a worthwhile investment. That's a little bit of a weird sentence, because why would you have 5 cases if you don't deep down, deep down, think it's worthwhile? Unless you're making a lot of money and you're like, just for whatever, we'll see what happens. Then I guess that makes sense. But the meat and potatoes here is probably correct. It all depends on what Ravensburger does. If Ravensburger keeps the game alive, the investment is worth it. If Ravensburger does not keep the game alive, then that's it. And the investment will probably go down the toilet. And yeah, that's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this week's comment review section. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!